All right, y'all. Welcome to Nomads, No Worries. We got a great show for you today. We're going to talk about a location highlight of Montenegro. That's right, the country of Montenegro. So let's get fucking hyped.
All right, I'm excited. See, there is one thing I want to learn about Montenegro.
What's that?
Do you think it means Black Mountain, or is that stupid?
It does. It does mean Black Mountain because
Okay.
of like the dark forests and stuff that are like all around the country. They named it Mountain for that reason.
But did like some Spaniards name their country for them? Because they don't speak Spanish. That's the thing. Like,
It was probably conquered by Spain at one point, I would imagine, just like everything else.
okay. Okay, well, that
Yeah.
was kind of a little preview of the location highlight there. I had to get that off my chest. See,
All
but
right,
I
well, how's it
did.
going today? What's
It's
up,
good.
man?
No, it's good. It's good. Things are great. Um, I heard from someone that you potentially got a C in jogging class in college.
You heard correct on that.
How is that even possible?
Well, let me tell you. So
All right.
it was my, I think, definitely freshman year, maybe like first semester, right? You get to pick like one bullshit class for the semester, and I chose jogging because I was like, well, this will be easy. I was like a track runner in high school, like I'm in good shape, like I jog anyway, so I'll just make a class out of it, right?
No, I just want to be clear. This is not a running class. This is a jogging class.
It's a jogging class. We would literally just show up to class and jog as a group.
So is jogging like the 100 level and running is the 200 level class, or like is that not like a thing?
I don't know. If that was an option, I probably would have made it because I got a C in jogging. So they're like, you can't like that. I didn't test into the next level.
Sorry, this major is not for you.
Yeah.
You could take our speed walking class though.
Yeah. So jogging, here was the problem with it. Okay. Super easy class. You show up and run. I'm not kidding. I was the fastest person in the class, not to brag. But like we tested ourselves doing a mile on a track one day and like I crushed everyone. Like I think I lapped certain people, right? Again, because I just came from like being a track guy in high school and I was in good shape.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, well then I'll for sure get an A, but that's not how it works because every Friday they would have an online quiz that you would have to take. I don't even know what kind of questions, how do you jog? Left foot, right foot, like I don't know what the questions were. But
Okay.
dude, it was due by like Friday. You had to take it like Friday afternoon. And like, let's be real, like my freshman year of college, so I would just forget to take the online quizzes. So I just got a zero in all of the quizzes, and that's what brought my average down to a C in the class.
So did you get an A plus for like lapping everyone on the particular mile PR thing or like
I don't even think that counted. I think it was only the quizzes. So I took like some of the quizzes, but I definitely forgot a lot of the time. And so, yeah, all those zeros brought me down to a C.
wait, okay, do you think you have it in you like to remember like a jogging question like you should tie your shoes before jogging, true or false? Like do you think that would be a question?
I think maybe they were kind of like about kinesiology a little bit. Like I
Uh
think it might have been like a kinesiology class technically or something. So it was kind of about how like muscles work, like muscle groups and like bones. Like what is a femur? What kind of bones are in your shin? I don't remember at all, but I think it was shit like that.
who is Usain Bolt? Like that was probably a question.
Yeah.
Steve, have you seen The Sprint on Netflix? I love that show.
No.
Oh, it's so good. It's about I'm gonna say sprinting, not jogging, but it's really
Okay.
good. You should check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah. Wow. So really you just dude, I feel like in college, these little quizzes that pop up that somehow don't get communicated to me, maybe because I'm not paying attention in the class, they get you. I mean, they that is the number one reason why in my opinion kids get bad grades is cuz these little like 10 point quizzes you just had to be there.
Yeah.
And they get
And I
you.
wasn't there. I just wasn't there. So that's the problem.
Yeah. So what did your parents say, Steve?
They just gave me shit about it. I mean, my grades were not good that freshman semester. Like I barely was able to get initiated into the frat. Like when I first got to college, I was just like, "Oh, this is cool. You don't even have to go to class. You can just party all the time."
You
And like
can.
halfway through the semester, my grades were really bad. And so then I just kind of had to get my shit together. And so I feel like I probably had like an F in jogging at that point. And I was like, all right, I need to get this bad boy up to a C. So
See, that's crazy. I feel like, Steve, a lot of people have a similar story to what you say. Like, all right, I just get into college. All right, I did really bad my first semester or whatever. Like, I really need to like pick it up, and they like kind of like figure it out, you know? Me, I was the complete opposite. Every single year, every single semester I was in college, I did worse than the previous one. So it was like by the time I got to senior year, it was like, dude, you got to get me out of here. Like I'm getting like all C's. Like we gotta, like I do not care about what's happening.
dude, your problem is you got progressively cooler
Yeah,
as college went on. Like by the time junior senior year rolled around, like you started to be a DJ, then
yeah,
you got like cooler hair,
yeah,
and so it's just like the cooler you were, like the more you were just like doing fun shit and not caring about class. So I think you just got too cool. That's the
yeah,
problem.
yeah. That I was literally too cool for school, but I'm really glad that it was only like a 4 year degree because, I was able to just I made it by. I made it out of there. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, we made
So
it. It's all
yeah, we're
good.
here.
Look at us
We're
now.
here. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not too bad. Yeah.
It's not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake. That's what they
That's
say.
right. It's the flights you take.
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah. Nomads, no worries. Smash that fucking subscribe button.
All right, let's talk about Montenegro.
All right.
So let's start off with some fun facts here. Montenegro, it's one of the cheapest countries in Europe. If you want to live cheap and take advantage of your remote work status and not pay a ton of money to live in somewhere like Norway or whatever, but you still want to be in Europe, like it's a good place to post up, and then you can travel around Europe still pretty easily. So that's a good option. It's also non-Schengen, right? We love non-Schengen countries on this show. We talk
We
about them
do.
all the time. So, if your Schengen visa runs up, spending too much time in Europe, Montenegro is a great option to go hang out for a little bit. Um, so,
That's great. I love Montenegro, honestly. I'm super excited for this episode.
me too. What else we got?
It's tied with Serbia for the most guns per capita in Europe. I think my question is, where do we rank?
We're number one, like by far. So the U.S. It's the only country with more firearms than citizens.
What?
So
Yeehaw.
our firearms per capita is, so per 100 people there's 120 guns that people own. So we're the only country with more firearms than citizens. Um, and then that's followed by, we got the Falkland Islands with 62 per 100, Yemen with 52 per
And
100.
that's like an active war zone, I'm pretty sure. Like that's
Yeah, so that
literally
makes
like
sense.
civil war. And they
Yeah,
still
yeah,
can't beat.
exactly.
And we're doubling them.
And then Serbia and Montenegro both have about 39 firearms per. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, a lot of Europe doesn't really allow citizens to own guns. So, Serbia and Montenegro were like two of the only ones, which is pretty funny. So, they're tied, in Europe for most guns per capita.
Damn, I mean, just tying this back to the college thing, I remember I was at my friend's house. I would go over to his house, and I went to his, like, one of his rooms, and I literally, one time, I tripped over a gun. I'm like walking down the hallway, I trip over a gun, dude.
Christ.
It's like, what is going on? He's like, dude, don't worry about it. It's not loaded. I'm like, why can't it just be put away? Like, why am I tripping over it?
Damn, that's so American. I love
Yeah.
American shit like that. It's
Yeah, I
great.
picked it up. I shot a few in the ceiling and I was like, let's go. Like, no, I didn't do that. But yeah, like, that's just a weird thing. Okay. Montenegro is one of the smallest countries in Europe. but it packs in 5 national parks and over 60 peaks above 1,800 meters.
Nice. Yeah, so it's super mountainous. That's where the Montenegro like Black Mountain name comes from. So it's a beautiful country. It's got a coastline. It is very small, but yeah, it's dope.
That's badass. You can go hiking, you can fire off some rounds while you're up at the top of the summit to celebrate. Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, Montenegro officially became an independent country on June 3rd, 2006. So not that old, but people voted and they chose to separate from the state union of Serbia. So I guess Serbia and Montenegro were like the same country for a long time.
Okay.
Um, it won 55% of the vote won, which is kind of funny. There's still probably 45% of people in Montenegro that are like, I wish we were Serbia. So kind of the way that that worked, Montenegro was a principality and then a kingdom in the early 19th and 20th centuries. And then in 1918, it lost its independence and it was absorbed to become Yugoslavia. And then Yugoslavia in 2003 became Serbia and Montenegro. And then in 2006, that's when they voted for independence and they announced the results via SMS. So everyone in Montenegro got a text message that said, like, "Hey, we're now an independent country."
Type yes if you want to continue to receive these updates.
There probably won't be another one for a long time. Hopefully, we just stay this
But
way for a
we'll
while.
save your number. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, we got you. It's incredible.
No Starbucks, no McDonald's though. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. I don't know if I believe that. That is
Dude, I
crazy.
mean, we do love to. I don't know why we talk about McDonald's and Starbucks so much on this podcast, but that is interesting. It's one of the few European countries where those global chains don't have a physical presence.
That's crazy. Okay, I mean the first thing that comes up is why Montenegro doesn't have any McDonald's locations. So that's a
Wait, that's
fun
the first
fact.
Google thing?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah, when I
hilarious.
typed in
Okay.
McDonald's Montenegro, and this is the article. So
Okay. All right. Um, so yeah, now that everyone has a brief overview of what the fuck Montenegro is, hopefully you guys can find it on a map. I probably couldn't until I went there. Now I kind of know where it is. I know it's next to Albania, and I know where Albania is, so
isn't it next
that
to
helps.
Croatia too? Like, am I
Yeah,
off
it
on?
might be like between Croatia and Albania. Anyway, um, so Montenegro, Jack and I have both been there, which is fun.
Yep,
Not together, but separately. So we went to some different spots.
yep.
So we want to talk about those today. So I'll talk about my experience here first.
Okay.
So I was living in Albania for a while, and I rented a car and took a trip to Montenegro. So just drove over the border and went to this town called Ulcinj, Ulcinj. Um,
Okay.
it's an awesome town. It's actually home to Montenegro's longest beach, so it's 8 miles long. The name of the beach is Velika Plaza,
Okay.
which apparently means big beach.
Wait, Steve, do you see the name of the beach that's next to that beach?
No.
I'm looking at the map right now. Miami Beach.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby. Anyway.
But it's what's rare about the beach is it's actually a sandy beach, which is kind of rare in the Balkans. Like a lot of those beaches are rocky,
Oh,
which
pebbly.
isn't. Yeah, they're pebbly. Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
But it is a great beach for kite surfing. Jack, I know you're into that, so maybe you could check that out sometime. But it's a very Albanian town. There's a lot of Albanians who live there. But yeah, it was a great town, super historic. We stayed like in the old town. There's a big castle. Um, funny thing that happened, we rented an Airbnb there, and our neighbor, we just started yelling at him from across, like we were both on our balconies, right?
Hmm.
And we started yelling at our neighbor, like just, I don't even know, just like, or he started talking to us. It was just like, where are you guys from? Like, whatever. He's from Germany. And yeah, we just kind of became friends with this guy. And I asked him, he was smoking cigs. And I asked
Oh,
him to throw me a cigarette over,
okay.
like across the balcony. And it took him like 5 tries. He kept trying different methods. I was like, don't worry about it, man. He's like, no, now I'm like committed. So first he tries to throw a cigarette and it just doesn't make it, right?
It gets
And
caught in the
then he like,
wind.
yeah, and then he put, and then I think he ends up putting like a rock in a plastic bag and like tying the plastic bag with the cigarette in it and throwing it across.
Yes. Was that dangerous? Like,
It was fine. I think I caught it, you know?
okay.
But then I'm like, sorry, man, do you have a lighter? So I throw the rock bag back over. Then he throws the fucking lighter over to me. It was awesome. But he ended up inviting us over to like pregame with him, and his whole family was there, like on vacation. His kids, his like old grandpa guy, his wife and shit. So we ended up going over and pre-gaming with them. It was really fun. Yeah, the dude I think illegally owned the place because he's a German citizen, and like he like wasn't actually allowed to like live in Montenegro, but he just did it anyway. He said if you just have enough money, Montenegro is one of those countries. If you have enough money, you can just kind of do anything. So
That's pretty cool. I like that. A little bit of a rebel, you know?
yeah, no, he was a cool guy. But yeah, there's also a nude beach in that town. It's very popular with Germans. So kind of funny that the guy I met was German. So a lot of Germans just go there to be nude, I guess. So that's cool.
This is kind of a hot take, but I'm kind of anti nude beaches. I don't know why. I'm good. Maybe call me old fashioned. Call me from Kansas. I'm good. You know?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't like need to be nude. Like I don't feel the need to have my wiener out.
Yeah, I
Like
don't want
no
to
one
show
wants to
people
see
my
that.
wiener.
Yeah. Yeah, I was never a dick pic guy. Like I never have sent a dick pic. I don't need to like, do like a real dick pic, which is just showing my wiener on a beach. Yeah, I don't need to see wieners. It's not worth it.
I don't want to be freaking out, like worrying I'm gonna get a boner. Like I don't want. I'm trying to enjoy my time at the beach.
Yeah, me too. No, I don't think I think I've like walked on some new beaches maybe. Like I went to one and I think in California. But yeah, I've never like chilled on one. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, that's a I guess it's really popular in Europe. You know, I'd rather have guns and no nude beaches than no guns and nude beaches. Like if we're really gonna go there.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But yeah, I had a great experience in the town. We spent a lot of time on the beaches that were not nude. And just had fun. It was, like I said, super cheap. We went to some cool restaurants. A lot of really nice views in that town. There's a lot of cool cliffs, so you can go to like restaurants that are overlooking the water and stuff like that. So yeah, highly recommend this the city of Ulcinj. I got to figure out how to say that,
That sounded
but
really
yeah,
good though.
that was my experience. I guess other things, they have flamingos there, which is cool. They have mosques and churches on the same streets. It's historically Montenegro has both Muslim and Christian communities. So you can hear the call to prayer and church bells at the same time, Jack. As if the call to prayer wasn't loud enough, you can also hear church bells.
Wait, so do they don't try to coordinate? They're not. They're like trying to speak over each other. They're both yelling. You got Muhammad v. Jesus.
Yeah, dude, it's a competition. Who are you going to worship today?
Wow,
Who's louder?
that's. I wonder if they also have 5 services a day to kind of compete. You know, they're like,
The
all right, these
church?
homies are
Yeah.
blasting their propaganda 5 times a day. We need to step up what we're doing.
Yeah, it's possible. All right, Jack, let's hear about your experience in Montenegro.
Okay.
I haven't heard much about this, so I'm interested.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So, the main town that I spent most of the time in is this town called Kotor. Okay. and it's on what is technically a bay, but everyone sort of ignores the geological sort of official name, and they call it the southernmost fjord of Europe.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so it's like essentially a bay, but surrounded by super high, dramatic mountains. And I vividly remember, and it's also a pebbly beach again, so it's good that you brought that up. I vividly remember that this water was like the cleanest, most refreshing water I've ever swam in. I mean, it felt incredible. I felt like I was like a newborn baby getting out of there. It was really nice, and it was beautiful landscape. So this town is really nice because it has that element to it where it's kind of popular for beaches and in the summertime, but then also in the wintertime, fairly close are some ski resorts. So you kind of got both situations there. And what's also interesting is it's a completely walled in city. It's like a medieval city, and it's like what Disneyland tries to be. Like it's got high walls. You can walk around the entire city like on the wall. They've got like really old churches and castles inside, and all of the streets are like cobblestone. I mean, it is straight out of like what you would imagine like any sort of like medieval city to be like. And I thought that it was an incredible, unique city. And so I highly recommend Kotor to anyone who's going to go to Montenegro.
That's dope. Yeah, kind of like Tahoe with the skiing and the lake thing at the same time. So that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's really interesting. And then another thing that's kind of cool is you can kind of take a boat out and kind of go around the bay and everything and check it out. And they have these like deep like World War II submarine like warehouse like little like submarine like parking spots, I guess. I'm sure there's a better word for that. But and you can kind of go in and see, and this is how they would hide all of the subs from the enemies, is they would essentially just dug out these gigantic caverns and park them in there. And so it was kind of cool to see that piece as well. So
Yeah, dude.
Kotor's, yeah.
I heard that Montenegro has a big history of pirates and like pirate issues.
Oh,
So maybe that's
okay.
what the subs were like for fighting the pirates or some shit.
That is true. I mean, I don't know if, Jack Sparrow ever got tested with like going up against a sub. I feel like he would get dominated by a sub.
Yeah, and plus now with all the guns they have there, like pirates don't stand a chance.
Yeah, they're probably like, we're good. Like we look at their cap, their rate, they're going up high in the rankings these
Yeah.
days. And this is kind of sad. And to be a little bit real, I do remember when I was in Montenegro that they did have a mass shooting. And I think,
Fuck.
yeah, so it is kind of like there might be some correlation there, not to piss off anyone, but um,
Yeah.
I think they do have some similar problems to us because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. If half your people have guns, like the likelihood of a mass shooting probably goes up, but
Yeah.
um
Yeah,
yeah.
so anyway, like KOTOR is a very cool like Disneyland-esque town. Like but it's legit. It's authentic. You could do some really cool hikes to kind of go up the mountain um that's adjacent to the water, and you get a really nice view, and we'll throw some photos up that I took. It was really nice. And then a little bit further south, we kind of went down south. We took a bus to this town called Budva, and this is
Mhm.
right on the Adriatic. And it's a little bit more of like a party town, beach vibes, summertime, everyone's there, mega clubs kind of thing. And this was pretty fun. It was a good fun weekend. We kind of did the beach club thing, and this is crazy. I mean, they were doing, I think this is like a thing because they have so many of these like dramatic mountains by the water where they do a lot of cliff jumping. And so you got these kids jumping off these cliffs, and I'm good on that. There's no way I'm doing that. There's no way I'm past that. I made it this far.
Yeah, yeah, especially after the beach club, you get a few drinks in you, like you don't want to slip and fuck yourself up.
Yeah. But I kind of consider this a party town kind of situation. And so yeah, mainly my experience was Kotor, Budva, and then also we flew out of Podgorica, which is the capital. And it was nice. It kind of you remind it's I feel like it's like a common sort of post-Soviet capital. They got some beautiful buildings, and they also have like these communist looking apartment complexes.
Okay, yeah, because I don't ever hear about the capital city. It looks like it's not, so it's not coastal. I feel like it's the
Right.
really coastal, beautiful places that you hear about. So because like it's like the capital of Croatia. Like I feel like you never hear about that one because it's like so far inland. Although I'd still like to check it out. I heard it's great. But yeah, this city I feel like you don't hear about with Montenegro because it's inland pretty far.
Yes, but it was still cool. They do have great beer. So I do remember drinking some good beer when I was there.
Dude, there was this beer. It was hilarious, dude. Like I could not pronounce it to save my life. So it's spelled Niksic,
Wow.
Nixic.
Okay.
And like the locals were like, no man, it's pronounced kiss kiss or something like just it's just
You idiot
like it
is
didn't
how you
sound like
pronounce it.
how it was spelled. Yeah, I don't know. It was something wild. But yeah, that was a good beer.
Yeah, they had great alcohol and great views. I really think this country is interesting because it's definitely off the beaten path. But it has a charm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think they're trying to get into the EU, but I think they need to fix their corruption problem first. But Steve, I don't know if we want them in there because we kind of like this non-Schengen thing. Like, it's a slippery slope. You join the EU, then all of a sudden you're Schengen and the party's over.
I know, dude.
You
Like
know?
we talked about that with like Croatia, they're non or they're Schengen now or whatever. So it's like we can't camp out there to reset the Schengen clock. So yeah, Montenegro is a good option for that now. But yeah, dude, anyone who's not in the EU is trying to get in it. It seems like, and Montenegro is one of those. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm fighting against that. I'll send my text message and vote against that.
Yeah. The text that Steve, I think we've talked about this before where
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like I would love to just vote via text. I mean, you guys are
yeah,
spamming me with all these texts about I need to go help out the Colorado mayor or something.
yeah,
Please just let me text who I want to vote for.
yeah.
Like, come
If you
on.
guys can text me political shit, I should be able to text you political shit.
Yes, 100%.
That's good. Um, you got anything else about Montenegro?
No. It was awesome though.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening once again. Have a great day.
And take a weird trip. Thank you, Steve.